Good evening, YouTube. Who's your piper? AKA Mark. On a very blustery, cool, almost cold, no, it's cold, April night. I'm in my shop and just got done with evening chores. This wind about taking my breath away. Probably will hear a lot of creaking and popping, and that's just the wind working this building over. So it is in the 30s, might be a little bit chillier than that. But as you can see, got my insulateds on, sweatshirt, and in 48 hours it's going to be 70 degrees. So big transitions in weather here. Lots of limbs down. It's been really blowing, wind warnings, and it's kind of cold. It's been they actually called for snow today, and up in the county I work in, which is Elkhart County, had some slushy, rainy mix, and it was pretty miserable. One of my favorite cobs, country gentleman from Missouri, Meerschaum, and I popped a new tin. Some Warhorse Bar plug pipe tobacco. This is the first plug tobacco that I've smoked. Now I pulled the lid off the tin, and I saw the plug. Looks like a brownie. I'm like, man, maybe I should take a bite of that, but I didn't. And I got some pictures. See it on my Instagram under Who's Your Piper. I'll put that up after I get done with this video. But so I really didn't know what to do. I've never had a plug before, and I thought, well, I'll just break off part of a corner, and I just kind of rubbed it out and filled the pipe. And it's got an interesting flavor. It's made of dark fired Kentucky, dark air cured and matured red Virginia. And the plug, which I already jarred up, I don't have it in here, it's pretty dark. So like I say, if I can figure out how to tag the picture on the end of this, I will, but if not, go over to Instagram, check that out. But yeah, it's got a different taste than to what I am accustomed. As a new smoker, I have been smoking a lot of aromatics, but just exploring different tastes. And I'm gonna give this one, I'm gonna not do a proper impressions video. I haven't done one of those yet. But I think I'll go a couple smokes on this and kind of, work my way through it, see what's going on here. I thought it was dry enough to smoke. Maybe I should have let it air out a little bit. So probably many of you have seen Pipes and Music's video on what's happening down in Venezuela, and he touched base through Voxer just a time or two, and I actually just saw him pop up on my screen again while I started this video. But on the way home in the car, I related to him when we lived overseas that we lived in Cambodia for a while, and I've been in some other countries where there's been unrest. And for me, as a foreigner in those countries and being caught up in the opposition, if in Cambodia it was called the Opposition Party, and the elections came, and the State Department, from the U.S. Embassy put out, hey, don't leave your house, stay home, make sure you've got supplies. And there was a lot of unrest, and there's still things that happen there, and you can search for it on YouTube, and you can see much of the same as what's happening in Venezuela. People who desire to have their voice heard, and yet there's a group of people in power who are trying to squash that and using violence. And much like what Pipes and Music communicated, it is the unarmed populace going up against militia type police, or even army forces. It's pretty unfair, but yet the people are brave enough and courageous enough to stand up for their voice and for what they desire to see change in their country. And it frankly is frightening. Doesn't matter your skill level, doesn't matter if you're armed or not. When there are a lot of people, and you might be caught up in that group of people, it is a frightening thing. I related to him on the way home from work, just briefly, when I was in Haiti. Got up early in the morning because we knew of unrest, and people in Haiti at that moment this is about 14 months ago, they were demonstrating, and I think riot is a pretty strong term. I don't know if you'd call it rioting, but they were demonstrating against the government because of, my understanding was, of the increased fuel prices without any explanation. And Haiti is an impoverished country, and so we had heard of that, and we were going to try to make the airport very early in the morning, in Port-au-Prince. And we got up, and there's only a couple highways that go down to where we needed to go to get to the airport. And we started off down one of them in a tap-tap, which is it's like it's not a dump truck, but it's a large industrial farm type truck. And they call them tap-taps because that is a mode of transportation. You hop up in it, and then you tap the side when you want let out. And pretty convenient and efficient way of traveling. You can stack a lot of people in those trucks. But in the back of the truck, it had a tarp over it, so we could not be seen from the outside. I was in a group. We were all Americans, so obviously we stood out, and had our luggage up to the cab, had some women with us. They were up next to the cab, and then the men were in the back. And as we're going down the highway, the truck started slowing and eventually stopped because there was a roadblock with it was burning tires. They had poured diesel fuel on the tires and set them afire. And the truck went off down into the side, like a little side road, kind of almost like a pull off. And when we got down there, our truck got stopped and surrounded by a very agitated crowd, men with machetes, and a lot of anger. And it was something that I realized that this is serious, and I've been in some tight scrapes. And when you are, when you don't have access to any kind of mode or method of protecting yourself outside of, you know, your own body, your hands or whatever, and there are several other people that need protecting, it really, and you're going up against an agitated crowd of people, it can get really serious really fast. And so I kind of understand a little bit about what he is seeing. But I, you know, obviously I don't live in that day to day, and that takes a toll. There's so much stress that goes along with that. Things, just simple things like, where are we going to get provisions if our provisions run out in our house? You know, groceries, food. Um, is our structure adequate enough to keep people from looting and coming in and all of this? And so, a very nice video by Nika Piper calling us all to prayer, and I think that's important. I think we ought to be praying for the Venezuelan people, and especially Pipes and Music and his family. But definitely have a little taste of what he's going through, know a little bit about some of that, and have seen some of that and been caught up in some of that in a couple of different countries. And it's never fun. It's never glamorous or exciting. It's truly frightening, and I'm not afraid to say that I was scared a time or two. So, anyways, my pipe has gone out. It's Yep, it's gone out. I get to chatting and I let it go. But just checking in with everybody. Hopefully everybody is doing well. I don't know where you're at. If you're in the States, if you're getting any of this type of weather, I wish you well, and want you to do everything you can to stay safe. And for my friends abroad, and especially Pipes and Music, my thoughts and prayers are with you and your family, and prayers for safety and peace, and just praying for that whole situation in Venezuela. So you guys take care. Until next time, maybe an impression of Warhorse Bar. Till next time, who's your piper?